Acid.
Roger. Echo Tango 46. 50 vehicle coming down from Bolton through Darwin. Roger.
I'll do a U-turn, say, go on, man.
You can still join onto it here.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no been no, mate.
Hey, DJ! Where's the bass?
The trouble with the licensing laws in this country, you get to 2 o'clock and everybody was like, yeah, this is absolutely brilliant, like, let's carry on. Oh no, I'm sorry, you can't. So it was fulfilling a need for people. People would meet on the pub car park, or people would like go to a garage, or even the Kentucky Fried Chicken between Blackburn and Preston, and people would just get to hear about it and all pile up there, and by 2 o'clock in the morning there's sort of 6,000 people. There's a lot of disused factories in Blackburn because all the mills are shut down and that. The atmosphere at the warehouse phase is so similar to the Hacienda, which is why the Hacienda is so good, because rather than being in some squatty little nightclub, which is like with a low ceiling, which is like what most nightclubs are like, it was like being in an aircraft hangar.
The growing fears over the new craze of acid house parties, which are attracting thousands of young people in the northwest. In Lancashire at the weekend, police in riot gear arrested 22 people after trouble flared in Blackburn. And earlier on Saturday, police had arrested organisers of another party 10 miles away in Chorley.
People who go to the parties are calling for them to be legalised, but the authorities are worried about safety because of the large numbers involved. They're also concerned about drugs and noise levels at the warehouse venues. Tim Wyatt's been looking at how the police are responding to the latest trend.
Acid house parties in the northwest, like this one in Manchester, have come to mean a cat-and-mouse game between police and partygoers. The usual scenario is that organisers keep the venue secret until the last possible moment. That venue is usually a disused factory, mill or warehouse. Safety precautions are normally non-existent. Many people believe these parties are just disasters waiting to happen. East Lancashire in general and Blackburn in particular have become the centre of the cyclone for acid house parties in the northwest. During the early hours of Saturday and Sunday mornings, town centres can become besieged with convoys of up to 2,000 cars and 10,000 partygoers. The traffic jams can be worse than during the rush hour. The police view is that these are purely criminal events. Their aim now is to stop them from happening before they even begin, and to that end they're drafting in hundreds of extra officers every weekend. These are the astonishing scenes in Blackburn early yesterday morning. More than 1,000 cars, heaving crowds, honking horns and scenes of mayhem, in which missiles were thrown and cars and shop windows damaged. The police response? Surrounding possible party locations, putting officers in riot gear and setting up roadblocks. In the end, no party went ahead. Lancashire police say they've gathered wide-ranging intelligence on the acid house scene. They promise that within a month, these parties will be history.
We get information from people who are involved on the fringes of parties. We get information from owners of buildings. But we had been successful last weekend, and we've been successful this weekend in preempting parties. We do know, for example, that this weekend attempts were made to break into and secure at least 2 venues, which our operations managed to thwart.
Politicians too want acid house annihilated.
These people are crooks, and they are destroying the lives of hundreds, not to say thousands, of decent, law-abiding citizens. And these people, who talk about the civil liberties of others, ought to come down and see some of the elderly people that I have seen, whose lives have been ruined by acid house parties.
The government, meanwhile, is backing a private members' bill, which could mean acid house party organisers facing £20,000 fines or 6 months in jail.
Tim Wyatt reports.
Were heavy-handed when they broke up the party. Under a law just passed, the party organisers could face fines of £20,000 and 6 months in jail.
The party, which was being held in an empty warehouse, had started at about 2 o'clock. A security guard at a building nearby alerted police. The tickets at £6 a head had been on sale all over the north of England. Convoys of cars had come from Manchester, Preston, Liverpool, Leeds and Wakefield. About 200 police officers, some in riot gear, moved in to break up the party at about 5 o'clock. They were attacked with a hail of bricks and furniture. Several policemen were injured, 3 needed hospital treatment. Partygoers have criticised the police tactics used to break up the event.
Just hitting girls and everything.
Didn't give a warning to
no
stop
reason.
or anything,
Nothing.
they just ran in.
Just come straight in, let the dogs off, whacking people.
There were a girl hit it face, there were all sorts that happened, a lot of people were beaten up, then we were just led against the wall and taken down to the police station and charged.
You see people walking out with bashed heads, all bleeding, you know.
There was a lot of people hurt last night, a lot of violence.
Police at the scene recovered £2,000 worth of drugs, including cannabis, amphetamines and LSD. Those arrested were taken to 30 police stations throughout West Yorkshire. They were held in custody for several hours before being charged, then released. The 836 people arrested have all been charged with public order, criminal damage or drugs-related offences. The West Yorkshire Force, which advocates a tough line on acid house parties, says it will prosecute all those who've been charged.
Leeds. The partygoers later made allegations of police brutality.
When police moved in to break up the party at 5 this morning, the youngsters pelted them with missiles. But officers in riot gear broke through the barricades and into the building, where they seized £1,000 worth of drugs. Several officers were injured as scuffles broke out. 3 were detained in hospital, 1 with a badly gassed jaw. He was hit with a 4-foot plank of wood. 836 youngsters were arrested and lined up outside the disused warehouse, which had been broken into. From there, they were ferried to nearby police stations. Another 1,000 people say the police were prevented from reaching the party. Youngsters who returned to the scene said they'd been attacked by the police.
Eventually they got through and just ran right with the truncheons, hitting anybody they could in sight.
Those arrested were taken to 30 different police stations. Many have since been released without charge. But police say they will be pressing charges for breach of the peace, criminal damage and misuse of drugs. Terry Lloyd, ITN, Leeds.
This is the gateway to the dance floor.